Hi, I'm Dan. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me today. This video is about some things I've been noticing and thinking about over time as Nancy and I have continued to vacation at both Walt Disney World and Disneyland. We've been doing Disney for a long time now, and what stands out to me is that the trips don't necessarily feel better or worse than they used to, but they often feel different. Because we've spent a lot of time at Disney over the years, as both annual pass holders and DVC members, we've had the chance to see how the park experience has changed in small ways over time. And as you're watching this, I'd love for you to think about whether you've noticed any of this yourself, especially if your Disney trips feel a little different now than they did years ago. For me, it's not one big thing. It's a handful of smaller things that, taken together, shape how the overall vacation feels today. This isn't about right or wrong. It's just about understanding the experience as it exists now and how each of us chooses to enjoy Disney on our own terms. The first thing we've really noticed is how much more planned a Disney vacation feels now compared to the past. Planning has always existed, of course, but it used to feel more optional. You could just show up, make decisions as you went, and still feel like you were having a complete Disney experience. Today, a lot more of what shapes our Disney World or Disneyland vacation happens before we ever arrive. Dining reservations, park reservations, how our days are structured. Much of that is decided well in advance. For some people, that added structure is reassuring. For others, it changes the feel of the vacation. It becomes less about wandering and more about following a plan you created earlier. It doesn't make the trip better or worse, it just makes it feel different. And how much you enjoy Disney now often depends on how comfortable you are with that level of planning. And once you start planning more, another thing we've noticed is that money feels more front and center on a Disney vacation than it used to. It's not just that things cost more, everything costs more everywhere. It's that you're more aware of it while you're there. Some of that connects back to the planning we just talked about. Things like Lightning Lane are a good example. They didn't really exist in this form years ago, and today they sit inside the park experience as something you're actively deciding about and paying for during the day. When more decisions are made in advance and more things are paid for ahead of time, it can create a quiet pressure to feel like you're getting the trip right. That awareness can make you more thoughtful and intentional, which can be a good thing, but it can also make small hiccups feel bigger than they used to. Again, that's not a good or bad thing. It's just another way the experience feels different now. And once you're planning more and paying closer attention, another thing we've noticed is how much more technology is part of a Disney vacation and how that can be both genuinely helpful and at times a little tiring. You can check wait times, look up restaurant menus, find your way around, and make changes using the Disney World or Disneyland app in ways that just weren't possible before, or at least not with the same sense that you were making the right choice in the moment. At the same time, you can find yourself checking the app throughout the day, refreshing, deciding what to change, and adjusting plans as you go. I've noticed for us, this can quietly pull away from what's happening right in front of us, even while we're still having a good time. It's not about technology being good or bad. It's just another way the experience feels different now. Yes, helpful, but also more mentally engaging than it used to be. And once you're planning more, spending more, and interacting with your phone more, another thing we've noticed is that the pace of the parks can feel faster than it used to, at least in some places. It's not that the attractions themselves are moving faster, it's more about how much is happening around you at once. More movement, more direction, more people flowing from one thing to the next. In certain parks or at certain times of the day, that energy can feel exciting, but it can also feel more intense. louder, busier, and more constant than we remember. I've also noticed that some areas in the parks give you more opportunities to pause and reset than others, and that can make a big difference on how the day feels. Again, this isn't universal, it just means the rhythm of the day can feel different now, depending on where you are and when you're there. And that's one reason why where we stay has started to matter more. The last thing we've noticed is that where we stay has started to matter more to us than it used to. In the past, the resort felt like a place to sleep between park days. Now, it feels much more like part of the planned vacation itself. After days that involve more planning, more decisions, more movement, and more stimulation, having a place that feels calm and comfortable makes a real difference for us. It's where we can slow down, sit for a while, and let the day settle. I've noticed that this changes how we think about our time at Disney. We're less focused on doing everything and more intentional about how much park time and how much resort time feels right for us. That shift has actually made our Disney trips more enjoyable in a different way. Not because we're doing less, but because we're choosing what matters most to us on that trip. So, those are a few of the things we've been noticing. What I'd really love to hear now is your experience. Do Disney trips feel different to you than they used to? Or do they feel pretty much the same? And if they do feel different, I'm curious how that shows up for you. If you've enjoyed this kind of thoughtful Disney discussion, feel free to like the video and subscribe. That really does help us know that this content is resonating with you. We really enjoy reading your comments. They often get us thinking about our own Disney vacation in new ways. And I know others find that helpful too.